Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be doing some planting and hopefully some rose deadheading because that really needs to be done. And based on the way our gator looks, it looks as though we are going to do a ton of planting, but we're not really. Because these green tower boxwoods, and there are 12 of them back here, these are left over from our fence line hedge project kind of around the corner there. We're going to take these and set these in the parterre garden on either side of those benches back there. And then I just want to leave them for a day or two just to see if that's where we like them, unless we set them down and think, yes, that is exactly what needs to go there, in which case we will plant them. But I anticipate just setting them down and waiting on it. Now these grow 9 feet tall by 2 feet wide, kind of their growth habit, so tall and slender. And you can keep them shorn down if you want to, which might be the case where I'm gonna put them, I don't know. So that's where we're gonna head first. And then this is the stuff we're actually gonna plant today. So this is a weeping white pine, and this is a replacement for one that died. We planted one on the front berm leading up to the pond area, and it's beautiful where it's at. It came through the winter beautifully. It's a zone 3 plant, but I don't know what happened. We're gonna do some investigation because it almost looks like it was alive one day and then just dead, like poof. Dead, dried up. So it's possible that the drip irrigation was not functioning to that tree. I am just not sure. Sometimes that happens. And I'm usually willing to give a plant another try in the same spot just in case it's because of something as simple as fixing drip irrigation. If we lose this tree again, I probably won't try it again, at least in that spot. But I am gonna add in some soil acidifier into that area, and it gets full sun, which is what this plant wants. And this is one that will kind of cascade. In fact, they say you can grow it over an arbor and it creates this really neat curtain effect. And what I wanted to do is kind of drape down and just fill up part of the berm, and I'll explain that when we get back there. We also have a Jurassic T-Rex wood fern. We just planted one in a container over here. Here it is, looking absolutely beautiful. But I didn't end up needing to use the second one over in that same location, so I want to get it in the ground. This one will grow about 3 feet by 3 feet, and we'll probably plant this one first because we're in the shady area where it would do well. It's also a zone 5 through 8. The last thing we have will go out into the south garden, I think, and it's a type of hardy geranium called Azure Rush. We've already got some out there, but they grow like 12 to 18 inches tall and they spread out quite far. Let me look. Yeah, 2 to 2.5 feet. So I think this is a really pretty one. Just absolutely beautiful. Love the leaves, love the little chartreuse note in each of the leaves. And then the blooms, that beautiful lavender blue color. They're hardy to zone 5 and they can do full sun to part shade. So we're gonna find a good spot for this. And this is the only thing out of a brand new load down at the garden center I took. I went down there this morning actually to pick up this weeping white pine. They had just received a brand new load of perennials and I totally controlled myself. There were so many beautiful things, particularly echinacea. There was, I don't even know how many varieties. And there were, yeah, anyway, I was just thinking, okay, it's getting really hot. I still have a lot of things that I need to plant like these boxwoods. So I need to just rein it in and just choose one thing. And that's all I did. So we've got 8 of these, which will create a gorgeous drift. So let's find our spot for this fern first. I think it would look beautiful right over here. I had just planted a few begonias in this spot and they aren't loving it. They're not loving however much water the drip system gives in this area. It's like too much. And so I've got a couple of begonias that are holding on. Wirevine's doing great and the coleus is doing great. But the begonias, it was an experiment and they kind of died out of this area for the most part. So I think putting that in there, that structure, that texture, and once it fills that in, oh, it's gonna be so pretty. And I know the fern will like the amount of moisture for sure. Now, let's see. Where's my auger? Got my kneeling pad and my 7-inch auger. We'll make quick work of this. I need to never say that something's just going to be really quick because that's always the time where I nick a drip tube, but the repair was pretty easy. And the fern looks beautiful right there. I think it's going to be a beautiful next layer to these silver gumdrops. We'll have our short layer, medium, and then we have a double file viburnum right there. It's so fun to me sometimes when you just have one plant that you want to tuck in somewhere, especially when it makes such a huge difference to a space. Okay, let's go set the boxwoods out. I think this is going to work beautifully. I still want to wait for just maybe a day or so. I want to look at it from our upstairs windows because I can really see the structure of the area and the shape of the flower beds from up there. But just seeing that structure, that evergreen structure, makes it feel more like a room. It automatically makes it feel more cozy. And then we can come in behind the bench with maybe like an arc of hydrangeas. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? Like big white hydrangeas right behind that bench. And then we get to still see the evergreen boxwoods in the wintertime. There were two spots where I was just kind of unsure what it would feel like, and that was right here because it just connects to this flower bed here, but I don't even think it matters. Like up in the front right there and on the other side, they're definite boxes, definite flower beds kind of to themselves. So here it connects, and then over here, it does the swoop to follow the driveway. So I really think that this location, having them inside these little bump outs instead of behind, that was the other option. I was gonna line them up, you know, here, and then the same on the other side, and then fill the boxes with something else. I don't know that I would like that as much. I think that having them have their own space makes it feel right somehow. Like it ends this flower bed with something definite. Sometimes I don't even know how to explain it in words, but it works. This flower bed needs a rework anyway. I've got this pocket where things just get chlorosis. I mean, I've got Baptisia in here. That's the pink lemonade, and they bloomed beautifully this spring, but this is what I deal with. But my other ones don't. My other Baptisias out in the garden do not get yellow like these. The crabapple here, which is, I think is a red baron or something like that crabapple. Look at that, chlorosis, and it's been treated. So it is starting to reverse, and that will stay here because I do love that structure. And this maple gets it as well. Look at that. This is an October Glory. It's just like a vein of really crummy soil right in here. Anyway, so it's got a very yellow vibe. I need to fix that. I might just move the Baptisias altogether. Anyway, it needs a rework. And having this bone structure in there is kind of perfect because it gives us the starting point for everything that goes in around it. And it is possible with that crabapple, if we do a arc of hydrangeas, I might shear that into more of a lollipop instead of letting it kind of be wide. But I just think it's kind of the perfect thing for back here. Since we are in the vicinity, let's take a look at the weeping white pine that didn't make it and do a little update on the pond area while we're at it, because things are looking beautiful. Look at the Russian sage and the Gara. What a perfect little annual accent, and it might even come back. We'll see. Sometimes it does. We've got the star creeper that we divided earlier this spring and planted right here, looking beautiful. The hen and chicks doing their thing. That little campanula, this is a new one coming out from Proven Winners this next year. Look at it. Can't even remember the name. Maybe we can pop it up on the screen, but it has been blooming its little head off pretty much since we planted it. We've got plumbago. It was slow to come back, but it did, and it's starting to bloom. On the other side, kind of a repeat with the plumbago, we've got black hawk grass, and here's our pine. And it was just absolutely beautiful this spring, and I just noticed that, yep, it's not thriving. Everything else is, so it's kind of a weird deal. But let's pop down here real quick. Russian sage, so beautiful. The pond is looking wildly better. Look at that. There's just that little green, just a little green fuzz in there. Oh, there's one of the babies, two of the babies. Okay, where is that third one? That's the butterfly koi down there. There's the shark cruising around. Usually it's kind of stationary, kind of fun to see it moving. The water lilies are doing beautiful. That's the pink tropical. We got the blue tropical blooming. There's the peach glow. Oh, what's the name of this one? It's that buttery yellow. I don't know, but it's beautiful. And the fish. Oh, just saw me, freaked it out. See if we can freak the frogs out real quick. They're usually out somewhere up here. This is where it looks the most algae-esque. Where are you, frogs? Maybe they heard me coming. We have 2 in here for sure, and they usually jump and make a big ruckus when we walk up to them. But all the plants that we've put in here are doing great. I'm just really thrilled with the turnaround here. The dragonflies around here. There's a big blue one right there. There's a big old black one. Here it comes. Ooh. Oh, there's a couple. Oh, there's a whole bunch, like 5 or 6. How fun. Okay, so what I want this pine to do is I kind of want to train it to fill in this space in a way, like kind of maybe a couple branches going this way and just fill in, because it will get tall if you keep staking it. And I wouldn't mind it being, you know, like this tall, but I kind of just want it to be this big, beautiful specimen right in here. I don't anticipate this project being very hard. I just need to pop this one out. We'll see what's going on under here. I might need a shovel. It did root in a bit. Woo! Well, there goes the pine. Not the stake. Okay, let me get a shovel. Sometimes I think I'm stronger than I actually am. Oh, I love those boxwoods. Kind of give you the like miniature Italian cypress vibes. Soil's wet. I mean, it's not too wet, but it's moist. It's holding the form here. There's a dripper run to it, so I don't know what happened. Definitely dead though. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Oh, yeah, it doesn't need to really be roughed up. Not root bound at all. Oh, it's so pretty. I want this one to survive. All done and watered in. It looks so beautiful, just like the first one did in this location. This one looks more of a blue than the other one ever did though. The other one had more of a, almost a chartreuse sort of vibe, but we haven't lost, I mean, I don't even want to say it, but we haven't lost anything else other than that pine around this pond area. And for all the things that we planted, I feel like that's a pretty good ratio. Look at that right there. It just looks like it fits in so perfectly in this space. And I honestly wouldn't mind if it just stayed this size forever too. So pretty. I did want to show you the chamomile that I started from seed and planted out, not in a video, but I did post a reel, I think on Instagram when I put this in. But this is the Roman chamomile, and it's so beautiful. Every single one of them has taken hold, and this is what we can expect from it, which I thought had such a kind of wildflower meadow look to it. Like imagine this whole section around this log with these little dainty white blooms on them. I think that's a perfect fit for this area. Okay, now we've got the geraniums to get in the ground, and after that we're gonna move on to some rose deadheading out in the rose garden probably. You know, I was just walking around out here in this part of the south garden noticing that these roses really need to be deadheaded. These are the reminiscent crema roses, and they're gorgeous, especially when they've, you know, been taken care of. So we'll probably do that. But what I was thinking is putting those geraniums in right in this space right here, and not necessarily in front of this pine, but back in this space right here. I don't know, I just put some annuals in here. We might just have to place them around and see how it goes. It might be that we end up carrying on after this Amsonia and doing a drift of them right in here. Sometimes I have to set things around just to find that perfect kind of spot. So anyway, let's try out a couple spots and get them in the ground. Oh, those look so good right there. So you can see that they get some protection in the morning from our crabapple tree, and they'll get afternoon sun because the sun comes in from this direction right here. So they should do really well in this location. And I did back them up a little bit from the walkway, even though I do anticipate them kind of coming that direction. But I think they're going to be a beautiful look right underneath this tree. In fact, maybe once they've spread a little bit and we don't have annuals here anymore, I mean, the only thing that will stay are the daisies, which are beautiful. But I think this whole space right in here would be beautiful and very soft and peaceful looking just with this one type of geranium. Okay, so we are done with the planting portion of today's projects. Now I need to go unload the trailer and get my kangaroo pop-up bag so we can run out and start doing some rose deadheading. All right, so here we are in the rose garden. You can see that some of the roses are completely bloomed out and some of them have nice fresh blooms on them. So I just want to go rose by rose and just deadhead. And we don't need much for this project. Pop-up bag, my Felcos, and a kneeling pad. So this process is pretty easy. You can see that there are some wild arms. Not all of the roses have that. A lot of them have a really nice shape, which I do appreciate. But every once in a while you get one of these that you need to cut back. So what I do is I just follow it back down to a set of 5 leaves that's pointing in the direction that I want the new branch to grow. So that would be this set right here. So if I were to cut above this set of leaves, I don't know if you can see that little kind of bump right there, the new branch would grow out this direction right here, which wouldn't be horrible. I think the most important thing you kind of don't want to do is cut one that's going to grow back into the plant. So if you cut right above a set of leaves that's facing into the rest of your rows, that's the direction your new branch will grow. So I like this one right here because it's facing outward. I know it's kind of hard to see, so I'm just going to clip the leaves since it's going to go anyways. But see that one right there facing out? So we just go in. I don't worry about making slanted cuts or anything like that. We just cut right above it, and that way we have a nicer shape. And now for the ones that are more in line with the rest of the shrub, our cuts won't be as severe, like they won't go quite as far down. But like on this one right here, I don't really want to cut it above this one. I'm just cutting the leaves so you can see the next one. I like the way that these leaves are growing out, so we make our cut right there, and our new branch will grow out this direction. Let's look at one more cut. You can see this branch right here. There's a decent looking rose right there, but it's likely I will not pick this stem just for that one little rose, and that's probably, I don't know, I can see some deterioration on the outer petals there, so it won't last long. So I'm just going to go ahead and sacrifice that one just so that we can get, you know, this area back in line. But I'm going to follow this one down. I like the way this set of leaves is growing right here. That means our new branch will kind of grow up like this. So we're just going to take this one down maybe right here. There. And hopefully in the end, we're left with a nice little dome, except for branches like this. So see how this one is kind of growing out, but it's got a lot of buds on it. And this would make for a very nice stem to cut. So I'm going to leave that one there. I might clean off some of the ones that are spent in that bunch. But now what we're left with is a beautiful stem to use in an arrangement. So I'll leave things like that, even if it kind of takes away from the overall shape. Because in the end, the goal for this space is to have stems to cut, not 100% perfect looking rose bushes. And I see just a couple of dead canes on a couple of the roses that I was just waiting on this spring. Most of the ones that I thought were dead, I just left them alone, cut them back, and they came back. Like, look at this one. This is the Grand Dame rose. Look at this, like half the rose looks dead, but the whole thing looked dead earlier. And sometimes if you just wait long enough, you'll end up with a rose plant again. So we've got buds all over on this one. So I'm just gonna cut these dead canes off and we'll have a nice little shrub. There's some real beauties out here though, like the Distant Drums, Princess Charlene de Monaco. Look at this, gorgeous. Oh. There's also a few that I'm gonna probably remove. This is a Lita rose or lighter rose. And while it's a really pretty flower, they're incredibly difficult to use in arrangements. Like this one branch right here, that's like an arrangement all in and of itself. So I think that I would like to have this one in the landscape somewhere, not necessarily as a rose for cutting. This is a beautiful one. This is Fun in the Sun. Look at this. So one of the buds looks like, look at this. The color is just gorgeous and the scent. It's just like perfuming the air right here. And this one right here is Quicksilver. Isn't that an amazing color? but we have a lot of cleanup to do out here. So anyway, we're just gonna get after this and we'll just see how far we get. We may not get all of them done this afternoon, but even if we got half of them done, that would be awesome. So here we go. right, guys, we made it through the entire rose garden. So at first glance, it looks like less color, of course, but the color that we did take out today was all stuff that needed to come out. Tired blooms. Now these plants will have so much more energy to put into new blooms. There are some beauties left over though. Some real gorgeous ones. Look at that. That is so pretty. Now there is one I skipped. It's called Edith's Darling. Just because I just took one look at it and thought, well, that looks fussy. That's gonna take me forever. The ones that come out in big sprays that have sweet little buds. Oh, there's a honeybee. Oh, how fun. Anyway, the ones that have that, I just thought, you know, if I want to use a stem, I'll just cut the stem, and at that point in time, I'll clean off all of the spent ones. And while this plant would probably look better if I just take the time, I wasn't feeling it. Still looks pretty. And I had my camera running the entire time. It took us just under 2 hours. It was at 1 hour and 58 minutes to do all of these roses. I don't even know how many we have out here. All of them minus two. I didn't do the litter rose either. Also, I'm trying to get used to wearing a hat, and it makes me so incredibly hot because I'm not used to it, and I've got hat lines now on my forehead, but I know it's really good for me, good for my skin. So I'm gonna try in increments to wear a hat and get used to it. Anyway, that is it for today. I'm super happy with everything we got done, and this is one very fragrant gator full right here. Now we just need to make it through. We didn't do the reminiscent cremas today. We need to make it through just flower bed by flower bed and get the rest of the roses deadheaded. It's just kind of a continual job through the season. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.